Welcome back. It's your buddy Jonathan back for the week 5 progress update. Now, I can say, just like I said last week was a crazy week. I won't call this week a crazy week, but this week had some challenges and I'll explain it in a minute. But before we get to that, we're going to start off with the update. Step on the scale this morning 279. So a loss of, was that 3.7 pounds? So we are coming down. Again, this might be, I don't know if this is the worst week, but 3.79 still good by any metrics. We'll take it. We'll get into this week's eating. This week was different. I'll explain. We got 40 eggs. We got 4 pounds of chicken. We got 10 cups of green peppers. We got 8 cups of jasmine rice, and we got about 10 cups of Mighty Mango naked fruit drink. Now, if you're doing the math on that over 7 days, you'll say, that doesn't make enough sense. He's not getting enough calories. All right, so this week I tried to get clever by half. We did a fast for 36 hours. And, I've seen people do this. And, one, I know intermittent fasting, a lot of people swear by it. This really isn't intermittent fasting. This is like an actual fast. But it was different. I probably should have did some more research on it than I did, but that's what we did. We did a 36-hour fast. And, hey, the results are results. We ended up at 3.7 for the week. We'll take it. I'll get more into this, actually. Walking this week, I actually walked just over 46 miles. So this is actually the lowest I think I walked for the duration of this. So we didn't walk as much as we have. Eating was mostly on point. Then I didn't eat for a period of time at all. So, you can figure out like how that worked for me. I'd say it's a mixed bag, but yeah, it is what it is. And then sleep this week was actually this is probably my best week so far. I think I had about 7 hours of sleep a night. And it kind of got complicated by fasting, but either way, this is probably the best week of sleep I've had. So good sleep, not as high as walking, only off by about 4. I've been at about that 50-mile mark. So being off that mark slightly, being less than that mark, good sleep, not as much walking, a 36-hour fast. It still came up at 3.7. We'll take it. Now to speak about that fast, look, I'm not a doctor, so do not take anything I say as medical advice. However, I'll say this. While I was doing the 36-hour fast, I felt pretty good. I was pretty alert. During that fast, I was actually out walking for one of my evenings. I was out walking, and I actually did like 12 miles. And I felt pretty good. That was probably middle of the fast, so I wasn't at zero energy. However, the next day I woke up, I slept okay. And, we got to the 36-hour mark, and I said, all right, it's time to eat. And I did. And I just started eating like I would eat when it's time to eat, coming off of my intermittent fast, coming off of my 16 hours of not eating. And upon eating, I immediately felt like absolute trash. I felt sick. I did not feel well. I don't know. I talked to my cousin after the fact, and he's like, dude, you should have, you got to come off of that slowly. You got to eat some fruit. You got to eat small meals. Yeah, I didn't know any of that. And again, my cousin's not giving medical advice either. But he's like, dude, what were you thinking? So the next day I woke up after the fast and felt like absolute trash. And everything hurt. Everything hurt. My shoulders, my arm, my knees were bothering me. And now, again, this could have been from just walking 12 miles in one day. It's very possible. I don't think that was the case. Normally when I walk, I'm usually I can walk anywhere from 7 miles to 10. That's on a regular day, depending on how I feel. And again, hitting 12, that was kind of on the high side of what I do. And, I don't know if that was the fast. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. All I can tell you is from what happened, it felt like it was. And it didn't feel good. And I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. I'll say that. There's people who do this stuff. Uh, and there's people who fast at least one day a week, when they're working on this kind of stuff, and they're like, yeah, they'll swear by it. I don't know. I mean, yesterday it was so crazy. I felt like trash for real. Where, like, I don't know. I was even thinking I might have some serious medical complications from not eating. Like I was super anxious yesterday when I went out for a walk and actually cut my walk short because I'm just like, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if this is a good feeling. Let's just stop and let's see how we feel, tomorrow. And hey, right now I can tell you I feel pretty good. Obviously I've been hydrating heavily, but even then, like in my 8 hour window, I haven't been terribly hungry. I haven't been overdoing it. It's been smaller meals than I normally eat, and yeah, it's weird. So we can look at the results for the week and say, hey, the results are the results. What's what we're trying to do? We got some results. 3.7 pounds. We'll take it. But there was just too much unknown stuff that happened afterwards where I was just like, yeah, I don't I don't know if I would do that again. And I would not recommend it to you, obviously, especially someone that, I would be considered morbidly obese. I guarantee it. And I would say just eat your food. Eat your food. Eat what you're supposed to eat. Eat how much you should eat. Get as much activity as your body can tolerate, and try to get as much sleep as you can. And you'll get the results that you're looking for. But I tried. I rolled the dice on it. Mixed results. Like I said, it actually caused so much anxiety where I was actually, when I cut my walk short last night, I thought to myself, like, I don't even know if I can do this. And that kind of anxiety is not the anxiety you want when you're trying to get into a regimen. You're trying to get, what's the word? You're trying to get dialed in. The last thing you want to start doing is doubting yourself. And so last night when I went to bed, that's how I felt, and I don't want to feel like that again. So we'll just eat 7 days a week, and we'll eat what we're supposed to eat, and we'll make adjustments where we need to if we feel like we're eating too much or we're not eating enough. But we probably won't do another 36-hour fast anytime soon or anything like that. Just I didn't feel too great. Now, for the week, album of the week, and you're gonna notice something on this album. I want to shout out my boy Mike. He created this using, I think he used Chat GPT or one of these things. He knows I don't really bang with this AI stuff, but he does, and I was actually cool with it. Minus the blue eyes. You'll see what I'm talking about. But either way, the album of the week, Thrice, Artist in the Ambulance. This album is full of great songs. This is one of those things I can put on. I don't think I might skip all that's left, but that's only because it was on Madden 2003 or 4, one of those years. And so I've heard it a million times before I even actually listened to Thrice. So Silhouette, um, Don't Ask and We Won't Tell. Uh, the album is just absolutely loaded. Cold Cash, Colder Hearts, I think, is on this one. Under a Killing Moon. If you are into this kind of music, I definitely highly recommend it. If you never listen to Thrice, you should check Thrice out. And if you like Thrice, then you're probably already a fan. The song of the week, what do you think? No, it's not it. It is Martin Garrix and Bebe Rexha, In the Name of Love. Man, I really enjoy this song. Issues did a cover of it too. I think on Pop Goes Punk or one of those things. I don't even know if they make those anymore, but what a fun song to listen to. Super enjoyable. Something I can listen to pretty regularly. So every time it comes on, especially this week. Gives me a little jolt, a little boost. So we'll take it. I'm a big fan. And man, stop throwing phones at Bebe. When I was looking for the album art for this single, I saw the article of someone hit her in the face with a phone, and I remembered that happened. I had forgotten, but I remembered after I read it. I'm just like, man, who would throw a phone at Bebe Rexha? That's insane. Bebe, if you're listening, call me. I'll hold you down. I won't let no one hit you in the face with a phone like that again. It's just disrespectful. I got you, baby. Um, I want to tell you guys, I was thinking this week, you guys, whether you know it or not, this kind of stuff keeps me going. When I'm out there and I don't feel like doing it, I think to myself sometimes like, man, I can't shoot a video without progress. There has to be progress. So on some of these nights where I might want to quit, I don't. And it's because of you guys. I'm like, I can't do it to them. And I can't do it to myself. So, even though I don't have a super large audience, just knowing that there's a group of people out here, however many there are, holding me accountable is enough. You guys are enough. Just in case no one's ever told you that. But another thing I was thinking while I was out there, I was on the phone talking to my buddy one night. It was like 1 a.m. when I called him. And he works at night, so we had a conversation for a little bit. And I was thinking about some of the doubts I'd had this week, especially with this anxiety from this fast. And I'm thinking to myself, a lot of people are afraid of doing something because they're afraid of failing. And I don't think that's ever been an issue for me. Sometimes I'm afraid to do things because I'm afraid of succeeding, if that makes sense. Maybe that sounds weird. Like, who would be afraid of succeeding? I guess the point is, when you try something and you don't do it, people, you don't have to do it. I mean, a lot of people will do it, right? You give yourself an out. But if you tell your friends you fail at something, your friends will say, oh, it's not even a big deal. These things happen, man. Just try again next week. But the problem with being successful is once you show that you can do something, once you prove to yourself or you prove to others you can do something, and then you don't do it, it's way worse. It's way worse to say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then you do it, and then you just quit, or you are trying and you don't hit the mark. Then you look at yourself and you're like, oh, what's going on, man? Like, I guess it's that expectation thing, right? If I fail continuously, if I drop 5 videos in 5 weeks, and every one of those videos I didn't lose any weight, you wouldn't pay any attention because there'd be no reason to watch it. But 2, you would say like, oh, he didn't make weight again this week. Well, he hasn't done that anyway since I've been watching, so who cares? But the second you do something, you have to keep doing it. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying? People will look at it and say, well, what's going on? What's changed? That was the other thing I was thinking about this week too, is the fact that I was January 5th, I get on here and I say, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. And we're doing it. And I've really had a lot of anxiety from thinking about that as well. Like, well, why am I able to do this now? Why didn't I do this, when it mattered? Why didn't I do this 8 years ago when, it was already something that was weighing down in my marriage, not caring giving the appearance. I don't care because my appearance is my appearance. And I don't care how I dress. I don't care how big I get. And I know it's an issue, but I don't try. And I've been wrestling with that all week. You can do it now. Why can't you do this now out of absolutely nowhere? You've been talking about doing this for years. And all of a sudden, you start on January 5th, you're 5 weeks in, and every week has been progress. It's a tough thing to figure out. I don't know. It's something I'm going to continue to take to bed with me every night. Hopefully I can, figure it out or let it go, or, and hopefully there's some type of resolution for myself where I'm able to deal with it, because it is something that this week really weighed on me. Really made me feel vulnerable when I was sitting by myself and thinking about the next step. Which way are we going? What's next week going to look like? What are we doing? And I don't like that kind of um, unassuredness. I don't like feeling like that. I don't think most people do, but obviously, when you're trying to do something, the last thing you want to do is fall short. So, just some things I've been pondering this week. I don't know if you guys know what that feeling's like. If you do, then you know where I'm coming from. If you don't, I don't know, ponder it, I guess, or hopefully, you know what? Let's do one better. I hope you never find yourself in that situation. But either way, that's the week 5 update. Hopefully, you'll come back next week. Again, if you're here, you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, glad to have you back. Like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think about it in the comments, and I will see you next week. Out.